Hey, welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and today we're talking about Rent Live. The iconic musical tells the story of 7 artists struggling to follow their dreams in New York City during a time of great social and political turmoil. Fox's live musical production of Rent has a star-studded cast, which includes Emmy nominee and Tony Award nominee Brandon Victor Dixon, who joins us today to talk about his role as Tom Collins. But before we bring out Brandon, here's a sneak peek of Rent Live.
Here we go. 3, 2, 3, 4.
525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylight, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles and laughter and strides, in 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love.
Please help me welcome Brandon Victor Dixon.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm giggling because we were having just some nice conversation about that clip. How fun was that to do the a cappella with the group all together and for people to finally get a sneak peek of what they can expect?
I mean, it was fun. I mean, you had to look what we just saw, because we were rehearsing it, and then we had to shoot. We had to rehearse it with the group and shoot some B-roll. What you just saw, because right now we're in the studio space and we're blocking everything. We're really refining what everybody's going to see on the 27th, and so we'll shoot a section and then they'll do notes. And then the musical director, Stephen Aremus, will bring us over the corner and be like, all right, sing this. Record them, sing it. And then you'll get something like this. so that, really I think what's exciting is that the whole process, particularly right now, everything is coming together. So we're always having to work with different departments because you got to figure everybody's got to get their job done right now. So we've got to stage it, but they've got to promote it. They've got to record the album. So everybody has a part to play. So I think the joy is the coordination of, okay, now let's go support this part of our show. Let's go support this part of our show. And Mario gets to conduct.
I was going to say he was in there. I don't know if you guys remember in Step Up, but his character did that a lot. So I like to see him staying true to who he is. I like so many people. I'm a huge fan of Rent, and I'm so pumped that this was selected to go live on national television because I feel like so many people have not had the opportunity to see it in theaters. So is that something that draws you to doing things like that? Is that just the impact you can have on a much bigger scale?
Well, I think part of it is, yes, the impact that you can have, and also these shows are hybrids. They're live stage performances, they're TV shows, they're live TV shows, so they are wonderful creative endeavors, just as a creative thing to figure out how to put this story together so that it's meaningful for us here in this space, but that's so that it goes out into the audiences of everyone across America in a way that gives them the same impact that you had when you were 8 feet from the stage. That's the trick.
And this is not your first rodeo when it comes to these musical live television
Tis
broadcasts. If you guys remember, he played Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Do you recall?
Quite expertly, if I may say so.
Thank you. I was clad in silver.
I mean, when somebody can make you love Judas, you know that's a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So
Judas touched you.
He did, just on the ground, just pleading.
Now it's Collins' turn.
Now it's Collins' turn.
Easier
so
done.
how does doing something like that? I heard that after you played Judas, they reach out to you to be in Rent.
Yes, Mark Platt was one of the producers on Jesus Christ Superstar, and he's the producer of Rent. And he was satisfied enough with my work that he asked me to come play Tom Collins, and I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah. And you've played Tom before.
I played Tom before. I played Tom off Broadway for about 3 months. Their Tom Collins got injured, and so they. I was working on something else with the director, Michael Greif, who is also directing this production. And Michael was like, "So, Brandon, why haven't you ever done Rent for me?" I was like, "Because you never cast me, Michael. I auditioned 7 times. 7, never." And he's like, "Well, you want to come do it now?" I was like, "Sure."
So are you approaching Tom differently at all from when you played him on stage? Do you have to bring anything extra now that it's kind of this bigger stage?
I'm not approaching him differently per se, but the true story of Rent and the power of Rent is told through the relationships of the characters. Really, the friendships that they build, and so Mike Collins is new now because it's a whole different group of people. We have these wonderful actors and actresses who are in these roles, and our relationships, and even the things we're searching for as we deal with this, figuring out how to do this show like this, and to, how to sing this song while you run up and down a block, as opposed to it was designed to be sung like this, but now we're gonna run. So it's like, as we all work through the things we need to learn to do this new version, we are relying on each other, we're helping each other, and it forms a family, and that's what really creates the relationship and the story of Rent that goes out to everybody.
Speaking of those connections, you're going to be playing opposite Valentina, who we love from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
She's going to be playing Angel. So what have you guys done to build that chemistry and to make sure that it comes across as real and loving?
It's been very easy. I tell you, our show's very well cast. And even when we came together on our first day, we didn't have a lot of time to spend kind of getting to know one another. We were shooting things and doing promos. But our energies very naturally aligned. We are very comfortable with each other and have been since we met. But I think our energy and our physicality is very natural. And this is, as you said, I have had more experience doing this, and also Valentina is younger than I am, and so there are a number of things that are just unknowns to her that we're able to talk through, and that I can also, I think Valentina is. I think one of her wonderful gifts is her honesty. Just honest sincerity rolls off of her very easily. It's what makes her Angel so beautiful and so powerful. And so I really try and tap into that. And I also try and encourage her to live in that, to live in that and understand that what we're about to get into with a live performance like this, nothing that we put out there is going to be perfect. Right. We just need to make it honest. And if it's honest, then it will probably be right.
Yeah, and what song are you most looking forward to performing?
That's hard. I actually, it's hard not to have an obvious answer.
I'll Cover You would be the obvious.
I think I'll Cover You reprise is probably, it is the one I am looking forward to sharing most. Just because I think for me, it's in a lot of respects, it is it's one of the most pivotal moments of the show, even though it's not a thing that culminates in anything. But for me, the way the characters work, Angel is the individual that teaches this group of 7 friends, really that the moment is now, that you have to measure your life in all the love you have to give, in any way you can give it, in the fullest way you can give it, for as long as you can, no matter the struggle or the circumstances, right? But Collins is the one who has to learn that lesson and hold on to it, even through the cost, because Collins has the love that he says, I've longed to discover something, anything as true as this is, and I received it, and I lost it. But I will still cover you. When you are worn and you're tired, when you're cold and you're lonely, the promises I made when we were joyful and we were running in the park, I will still make them now. When it is painful, when it is hard, when you are sick. And I think, and that's the key, the ability to do that and to show them it's still important now. It's even more important now. You can still have the love. You can still give yourself over to the thing you think is going to break you.
Was anybody else just transported when he was speaking? That was so beautiful. Like you embody him so well. So I cannot wait.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see it. What have rehearsals been like? I mean, you speak of all the different departments, and it sounds like it's moving at rapid speed.
It is. Rehearsals, they start out at a very steady pace. We're in, rehearsal studios out in Burbank. And if you know anything about Los Angeles, they consider Burbank to be like the outlands. You're not really in Los Angeles. So we were rehearsing in Burbank, just in the room as the creatives, putting the scenes and the songs together, and also trying to theorize where the camera would be. So this is how we'll do the scene. And also, because our set, the audience is in 360 degrees, and our set is kind of a small little New York block. Avenue A, Avenue B, East 4th Street, 5th Street, and then there's the lot in the middle. And so you have to traverse quadrants of the set, but when we rehearse it, we're just in one room. So every scene you have to reorient yourself, and you're like, okay, so the band is there right now, and you're gonna Happy New Year happens here. And so it's all, in the rehearsal room, it's all very awkward until you get into the space, and then you really get to see where you are, how you travel, and the immensity of it, the immersive and exciting nature of it. It's just, I'm really thrilled to be in the set, and I'm really thrilled for everybody to see this set. It really comes to life on screen.
Is that easier or hard for you? I know you're used to performing on a stage, which is much smaller. To blow things up to be so big, does that offer you just a lot more challenges, even vocally, keeping your breath as you're running back and forth?
There we are.
Yeah, right?
That's been the real challenge. You're used to performing on a proscenium stage, and now I'll cover you, for instance, the initial, Angel and I are falling in love, and the number's like 3 minutes long, and usually it takes place between here and here. Maybe you climb a thing, but now we are running down the block. We are swinging on the plate. We are doing things. And so it changes physically how you approach what you're doing.
Yeah, that's crazy. What do you do? Are you exhausted at the end of the day? What do you do because I'm sure it sounds exhausting.
I run. And I'll hike with the Santa Fe click in my head, so that I know I'm walking at the right pace, and so I can sing the song, so that I'm not sounding like a track sprinter when I sing the song for everybody.
It's like tumbleweeds,
right? Exactly.
prairie dogs.
We'll open up our Cervantes. Yeah,
That is amazing. I think one thing that helps Rent withstand the test of time is that the casting is Black and Hispanic and queer, and it was so sort of ahead of its time in that. Mm-hmm. And now we're in casts, we see that more often, but I still think that's something that makes Rent so special. Do you agree?
Well, I think Rent. What's wonderful about Rent is real, right? Yeah. Rent decided to take a real snapshot, a look at the lives of these individuals in New York at this time in Lower East Side, and that is what New York looks like. That is what the Lower East. So that's what real life looks like. Real life looks like all of us. Real life doesn't look like one of us, And so that's I think the thing that has been most visceral and most powerful about Rent. It is embedded in a quest for truth. And so it's these people, and it's these people searching for their truths, because even within themselves, they are reaching for their identity, and sometimes that search manifests itself in some of the more traditional ways in which we talk about searching for one's identity now. Sometimes it manifests in the less traditional ways that one searches for one's identity that we should talk about more now. Just your emotional identity, your spiritual identity, and remaining in touch with those things. Your community identity, not just who you are on your own, who you are amongst everyone else, because we are not an island. What you do affects other people. So it's not just about who you are and you are enough and what makes you happy. What lifts the boat, what raises the tide. Rent's about community very much in that respect, and about how we all need it, because life happens, and sometimes you will not be able to self-sustain. You will need life support, And
I think a reminder to so many LGBTQ youth who maybe are pushed away from their families, yes, that community, that family you find is oftentimes more impactful.
Pushed away from their families and pushed away from themselves. It comes a time you have to reconcile what you've been told about who you are with what you are learning, what you are coming to know about who you are, and that's the hardest battle. Once you own that, you can find ways to fight everybody else, but you have to own it within yourself. And a lot of people lose that battle. You know, they don't even get to show the world who they are because they can't show themselves. And so that's one of the reasons I'm very excited about this show. I mean, Rent was groundbreaking then. It's an indictment upon us as a society that it is going to be equally groundbreaking now. But the issues that, you know, Rent kind of brought to a mainstream audience then are the issues that are at the forefront of our debate now. But now we're not talking about communities or individuals who are in hiding. Now we're talking about communities and individuals who are amongst us and not only demanding but deserve the equal protections and the equal right to exist and to live and to love. And so to take a show like this, which fights very hard to kind of, I think, empower our differences, but also show each other how our similar our life experience is through all these different constructs. Because these friends are all very different. You know, they're some of them are artists, some of them are scholars, some of them are come from means, some of them don't. But their search for love, their struggles with forgiveness, they're all similar. You know, it's a great mechanism. I think this show is a great mechanism for showing us our mutual similarities with one another.
Absolutely, and it is so, like you said, so more important now. Especially, I think this past weekend, Pence compared Trump to MLK.
Yeah,
and you're just like, how misguided.
These cats get slick sometimes.
Right?
They get real slick.
And it's like, nobody missed that. Nobody missed that. And I know that you've been really outspoken about inclusion and things in the past. So it's just really special to hear you continue to use your platform to spread messages of love instead of hate. And
that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And again, that's why Jonathan Larson's show has always been so meaningful to me. And in revisiting it now, you know, I get to see just how urgently he was penning this message that you have to measure your life not only in the love you give, but the love you allow yourself to receive. You know, and he really said that quite literally over and over in his show, to the point. It's my favorite finale, my favorite closing number of any show, because we spend 2.5 hours, you know, singing and dancing and emoting and telling you, you know, like, no day but today, I die without you. You've got to live now. You've got to. And by the end of the show, we sit down on stage and we sing that same phrase over and over again to the audience. We're not singing. I mean, we're not dancing. The lights aren't going up. Anybody who died comes back to life, and we sit there and we say, no day but today. I die without you. No day but today. And it's just like, it always gets me. Always, because it's insistent. It's insistent. Don't look away. Today. Now.
and that must stay with you as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
When you leave that studio, is that something that you're constantly kind of reminding yourself of?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a thing that's, particularly now we're doing it at the new year. Mm-hmm. You know, you have your resolutions and your reflections. And I was born in September, too. So, like, you know, it's my year just recently started personally. And it's one of those things you think about. It's like, all right, what didn't I do? Who didn't I call? And, you know, why was I thinking of myself in that negative way before? I need to turn that around. This show's been a great reminder of love yourself, love each other.
Even in doing research for this, I sort of just rewatched some of my favorite songs and clips, and it makes you think about things and it resonates, and that's why I'm happy that it's going to be on such a big platform now. And so people who think about how many children haven't seen it yet and how many
Absolutely.
people are going to be impacted by the stories,
Absolutely.
especially, again, in this political climate where inclusion sometimes takes a back seat, you know?
Regularly takes a backseat.
Yeah.
Empathy regularly takes a backseat.
Definitely. And I know you have a fun thing going on tonight with HQ Trivia.
HQ Trivia.
They're having a music-themed HQ Trivia, which you're hosting.
Yes, which I'm hosting.
And if you get all the questions right, they pay your rent for a year?
For a year.
Even New York City rent?
They will pay you. Look, I think the legal department's probably going to have a problem with how they advertise this, but it says they will pay your rent for a year. Take a screenshot. Hold on to that. I read that. I said, whoa.
Whose rent are we talking about, right?
But, you know, hey, get involved. Get involved. That's a great prize. So tune in tonight.
I mean, can you like tell us some of the questions, or can you help us study up?
I cannot.
My rent's expensive.
I can tell you all of the answers can be absorbed in the next 2.5 hours. If you want to download the Rent CD, you can, you can get the information on there.
So we might have some rent themed
Look,
questions.
they're rent themed questions. We're not going to talk about unrelated material. So, so you have a shot.
Okay, I'm already studied up.
Come on now.
I can't wait. And so we've seen all of these amazing, iconic musicals brought to the big, I guess the small screen. For you, thinking it through, what is one musical you think would be really great to air on network TV?
I want to play Harold Hill and the Music Man on July 4th.
Go.
That's what I want to do.
Okay.
He's a music man. He's a what? He's a what? Come on now. Music man. That's what I want.
Is that your favorite musical?
It's one of my favorite musicals. And I did it in junior high, actually. I did it in junior high, and I won a scholarship competition from the Trouble monologue, which I probably still could do to this day.
Right. Is there a role that you haven't played in theater now that you would like to? Because I mean, like I've seen you in 2 musicals, and you're amazing.
Thanks.
So is there a role that you really want to get into that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Yeah, my final bucket list role is Valjean in Les Miserables. That's my final. I had a couple. Collins was a bucket list. Got to check that off. Cole Housewalker Jr. in Ragtime. Got to check that off. So, yeah, that's one more. Cameron, Mr. McIntosh.
I feel like you can make that happen like today.
Probably not today, but I can make inquiries.
I'm optimistic.
I can make significant
I'm
inquiries
optimistic.
at this point, actually. You're right.
Before we get out of here, I know we have one question from Twitter. Do we have it ready? There we go. The question is from Edward is the Man. Yes, he is, I guess. What is your favorite song from Rent?
My favorite song from Rent is Finale B. No Day But Today. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a reprise of No Day and Another Day, but that's the part.
Well, I love the whole soundtrack. I've been listening to it all morning. I cannot wait.
Have you checked out the newly released single of Seasons of Love? That you saw
This one? No, I haven't.
It's out now. Seasons of Love is on. You can download that on iTunes right now.
I also know that they're going to do a Rent Live soundtrack that they're going to release on February 1st.
Yes, they are.
So if we love the show, we can keep listening to it over and over which we will do. If you guys want to check out Rent Live, airs on January 27th at 8/7 Central on Fox. Give it up for Brandon Victor Dixon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.